It is time to let the roses bloom as we burst Digivolve here with Rosemon. Digimon fans, welcome back, and today we'll be showcasing the brand new Rosemon Burst Mode Deck. Just like all the other Data Squad members, Rosemon received a bunch of new support from BT13 versus Raw Knights. Just like what Green does best, it can Digivolve through the line very quickly with Digivolution cost reduction effects. It can suspend your opponent's Digimon and Tamers to play hyper aggressive with the Rosemon Burst Mode. The deck functions fairly similar to the Bloomlord and Hydra deck, and I'll be showing you guys all the combos of how to play it as well. So let's begin with the deck profile first. Alright, starting off with the Digi-Eggs cards, we've got 4 copies of Kokomon from EX4. You return once per turn with its inheritable. When effect suspends one of your own Digimon, you get to draw a card. We do that a lot in this deck. We know how Green is really good with Digisoprtion and reducing its Digivolution cost. So again, we're going to be seeing these kind of effects very, very often, which is why this is the best and perfect egg that you want to be seeing for this particular deck. Okay, let's get into our rookies. First and foremost, 4 copies of the brand new BT13 Lalamon. It is your on-play searcher, revealing the top 3 cards of your deck, adding 1 Digimon card with Vegetation, Plant, or Fairy in its traits, and also 1 Yoshino among them to your hand, and then you bottom deck the rest. And being able to search 2 targets is really what this card is really good and all it's all about. Really happy that we have more search power for archetype to help us support even further when it comes to our entire sort of like green-based decks here. It has the inheritable of your turn once per turn when this Digimon would Digivolve. If you have a green tamer, you get to reduce the Digivolution cost by 1. Really crucial, really essential. You guys can see there's going to be a lot of combos with Yoshino with this particular entire Digivolution line as well, which is why we definitely want to play the 4 copies no matter what. Then for more searching consistency, we definitely still like to play the 4 copies of the BT10 Palmon. This one has the on-play, revealing top 4, adding yourself 1 Vegetation or Plant and its traits to your hand, and also 1 Fairy among them, so then you can search for more Digimon cards, particularly with this particular card, which is always super good and ultra value again when you get 2 hits, but no inheritables, which is totally fine. Therefore, you're always going to be hard playing this all the time. Next, moving into some sort of like generic rookies that we have that's more vegetation related, we have Palmon. This one just simply has all turns players can't play Digimon via effects. You guys can really juggle and prioritize different numbers and ratios based on what your personal preference is when it comes to these kind of rookies. However, you know, in this current format and meta for BT13, there are quite a lot of effects that actually let you play Digimon via effects, so having this Palmon is definitely nice to counter against those decks. Then we also have 1 copy of the other Palmon from EX3. This one is when its effect suspends this Digimon, you can suspend one of your opponent's Digimon as well. So, you know, a lot of synergy. So suspending more things again is always just super nice to have. Then to round it all off, we got 2 copies of Terriermon, just another Floodgate rookie to stop opponents from gaining memory other than Tamer effects. So again, like I mentioned earlier, you guys can juggle between the last few cards here based on your personal preferences and ratios when it comes to playing these Floodgates with the Pomomons and Terriermons and whatnot. Really comes down to your own personal preference. If you are a fan of the Digimon Data Squad show and want to see me cover more new Burst Mode related decks, then be sure to subscribe. Turn on that notification bell right now to stay tuned. All the new deck profiles featuring Mirage Galgamon, Ravemon, and Rosemon, which I'm super excited to be showing you guys, will be coming very soon. I actually already posted a bunch of those deck lists on the Avault Club membership tab, so if you want to see them, join the Avault Club right now by clicking on the join button or in the link in the top right iCard. Also give this video a like while you're at it, and I greatly appreciate the support from all of you. That's it for level 3s. Let's talk about level 4s. First, foremost, the new Sunflowmon from BT13. It has a Digivolve cost of 2, and it has a main effect by suspending this Digimon. One of your Digimon may Digivolve into a Digimon card with Fairy in one of its traits from your hand for the Digivolution cost, but you get to reduce the cost by 2 if you do it with this effect. Then it has an inheritable of your turn once per turn, where this Digimon would Digivolve. If you have a green tamer in play, you get to reduce the cost by 1, just like the Lalamon, which we saw earlier. So again, racking up all these inheritables help you reduce a lot of cost, and you guys can climb through the stack very, very quickly, which is super value. Then we play another 4 copies of the older Sunflowmon from BT10. This Sunflowmon has a lot of synergy with our new Sunflowmon together, again racking up, and that's why you want to be playing maximum of 4 both copies of these cards, so then you can really utilize a really cool combo altogether, which I'll show you guys later on. But just like you guys know, when Digivolving, this guy suspends your own Digimon so that you can play another Digimon with Vegetation, Plant, or Fairy from your hand as traits with 3000 DP or less for free. And then Inheritable, when effect suspends one of your own Digimon, you get to draw one. So yeah, this one, again, you also want to see it as often as you can, for sure. Then to round off for all the level 4s, simple, 2 copies of the red Vegemon so that we can actually play it via Sunflowmon's effect, but also just for its cheap Digivolution cost of 1. Once again, just really good for helping us climb through the Digivolution stack, and yeah, this is a really good level 4. That's it for our level 4s. Let's talk about our level 5s. Starting off with the whole new line of Rosemon. We got 4 copies of the Lilamon right here. Brand new one from BT13, Digivolving for 3. When Digivolving, it lets you play one Yoshino from your hand without paying its memory cost for free, so it's really good. And then it has the Inheritable. Very simple. Your turn while your opponent has a suspended Digimon, this Digimon gains Security +1. Really, really good in terms of doing extra damage, the aggression, and the offensive playstyle, which is definitely my personal preference when it comes to playing green for sure. Then I'm also playing 2 copies of an older Lilymon from Starter Deck 4. It has a when Digivolving effect which reveals the top 5 cards of your deck, adding yourself 1 level 6 or higher Digimon card among them, and then you place the rest of the remaining back to the bottom of your deck. I mainly want to play this card because it's also a fairy trait which has a lot of synergy with our Sunflowmon from BT13, and being able to search and find our level 6s is definitely really nice. We can grab ourselves the Rosemon, we can grab ourselves the Burst Mode even, and yeah, definitely a nice one that I like to play, and just for personal preference here. Then for most standard for green, we right now play 1 Blossomon and 1 Argomon, simply because these guys are now restricted down to 1. Blossomon with the one that's newer, that's restricted down to 1 as a vegetation. Therefore, these guys have Digisorb 3. You guys know how strong these level 5s really are. Again, helping you build your stack super fast and super quickly with basically paying almost no cost whatsoever. That's it for our level 5s. Let's talk about our level 6s. First and foremost, we of course have the brand new Rosemon right here. Really nice artwork for sure. Digivolving for 3. When Digivolving, suspending one of your opponent's Digimon or Tamers, and then you get to unsuspend this Digimon. So really good combos with your Digisoprtions if you ever want to get into it. Again, really versatile. Secondary effect, all turn once return when opponent's Digimon or Tamer becomes suspended, suspend one of your Digimon or Tamers as well. So you get to suspend a lot with this particular card right here, and being able to suspend things helps you control and set up for later combos, which is always really good value. And yeah, 3 costs is just super cheap already, and then with your cost reduction of Digivolving costs of all your Inheritables and effects, you can get into this card right here for free, which is really, really good. Then for our secondary level 6, I actually like to play 2 copies of Bloomlordmon here. Bloomlordmon has a lot of synergy with the Digivolve cost of 4. It lets you suspend one of your own Digimon when you're Digivolving, and you get to gain a memory for every other suspended Digimon you have that's Vegetation, Plant, or Fairy in its traits. Itself is also a fairy in its traits, so it has a lot of synergy with the entire deck. And if you gain more than 2 memory, you get to unsuspend this Digimon, gaining piercing for the turn. And then its secondary effect is that your turn, for every 2 Digimon that you have in play that are suspended, you gain extra 2000 DP and Security +1. And you guys know that I love to go for offensive side of things and be playing super hyper aggressive with this particular build. Therefore, I think Bloomlord is a very nice suitable card overall to synergize with this deck. And like I mentioned earlier, very important, it's a fairy trait, so then it can be searched too. But that's it for level 6s. Let's talk about our level 7s. Play 4 copies of the Rosemon Burst Mode right here. Being able to access this as soon as possible and multiple times throughout the game is what's going to help us close it even faster and win games because of its Digivolve cost. It does cost 5, but we can reduce so many costs with all of our combos and effects. We can effectively get into her for free, which is always going to be value. Otherwise, if you want to go for even more aggression and go into her super quickly, you can burst Digivolve for 0 on top of Rosemon specifically by returning 1 Yoshino from your battle area back to your hand essentially. Now for when Digivolving, you suspend one of your opponent's Digimon and one of their Tamers, and then until the end of your opponent's turn, all of their Digimon and Tamers do not unsuspend. So not even just during the unsuspend phase, but they just can't use their effects to unsuspend, kind of like a Quartzmon essentially, just for 1 turn. And then it has a secondary effect of when attacking, trash the top card of your opponent's security stack for every 2 of your opponent's suspended Digimon and or Tamers. So by doing so, if your opponent plays wide, if they have a lot of resources on the board and you suspend all of them, you can trash multiple cards with this particular Rosemon Burst Mode right here and go for really aggressive attacks like I mentioned earlier. And yeah, just a really powerful card, super strong with all the effects. And yeah, funny enough, I actually like the mechanics of this deck a lot. That's it for all of our Digimon. Let's go into our Tamers right here. 4 copies of Yoshino, which is your main memory tamer of the deck, but not only is just your memory tamer, it has a your turn secondary effect of when your Digimon would Digivolve into a Digimon with vegetation, plant, or fairy in its traits, suspend her, gain a memory when you do so. So it's basically just like kind of like reducing your costs, giving you a lot of value as you're climbing through your stack. Gaining that memory is always definitely very, very nice. And yeah, you want to be seeing this as your main tamer as often and as frequent as possible. It's just a really good addition for the entire plant, vegetation, and fairy archetype overall. That's it for all of our tamers. Let's just talk about our options. More searching consistency, more gaining memory, 4 copies of green memory boost. Now with all these kind of different searching effects and digivolving effects, green is just like super consistent because you can digivolve so much, draw more cards, and search a lot of the cards with all the different kinds of searchers now. And yeah, still definitely want to maximize this out of 4 copies. Very standard green staple, delay gaining you that 2 memory as well, so you can make more plays. It's just making your turns very explosive, and you can go wide and do super crazy combos. Then of course, to support that even further, we always definitely have to have the standard HPD, restricted down to one of the best green cards, of course, to always be playing no matter what, so that you can again, bridge into your Digivolutions very quickly. And then last but not least, as sort of like a removal, which is like a flex spot kind of card, we have 1 Grandel Soul to, bottom deck one of our opponent's suspended Digimon, and we basically can reduce the cost by 2 if we have 2 or more suspended of our own Digimon. So pretty nice security bomb as well. So, you can definitely play this based on your personal preference, whichever you like as well. That's it for the 50 card main deck. Now let's show you guys all the other cards that you guys can be adding into this particular build and switching things up to spice it up even more. So the first card we have here is Agitar. Agitar is actually still a really, really strong level 5 for most green decks essentially, and this has a lot of synergy with its main once per turn effect. Suspend one of your own green Digimon. It can be itself, it can be another, letting you play a 3000 DP vegetation, plant, or fairy for free. And then it has the inheritable of when it effect suspends your own Digimon, you get to gain a memory. The only reason why I didn't include this is particularly it doesn't have enough synergy with the Sunflowmon, and it's not a fairy in its trait. That's the only reason. However, you can still play 2 copies, which is not the end of the world if you don't have that meet that fairy trait. It's just based on my personal preference. I do definitely think this card is still a very good add for sure. For more Digisoprtion, since Blossomon is restricted down to 1, other than just playing Blossomon, if you do want to do Digisoprtion stuff, Pissmon is a very good one to sort of go for. It also has the inheritable of all turns this Digimon gains extra 1000 DP for all of your other suspended Digimon. And yeah, just a really, really nice card for sure, just as a different suggestion. If you want to play more additional Rosemons, just for the names, the campaign rare for the 4 cost, which has Digisoprtion 2, and has the when Digivolving effect if you have a tamer in play when your opponent's Digimon can't attack or block until the end of the next turn, is actually a pretty neat one to go into as well, so that you can be a bit more consistent with your burst mode combos, because burst mode can only burst Digivolve using Rosemon, otherwise you have to pay the proper memory. So again, really up to you guys based on personal preference. And yeah, this is just additional Rosemon. Then we also still have Hydramon as another recommendation. It is a vegetation and its traits has a lot of synergy, and it's just a very good defensive card, really powerful and strong even for the 5 cost. It's just a super powerful floodgate and kind of makes it difficult for your opponent to play as long as they're suspending their own Digimon, whether they're attacking or having any suspension effects that's happening during their turn. And both turns you get to gain memory as well, and you can bottom deck stuff with this guy. Yeah, it's just still again just a really strong card. But this time I like to play more offensive style, more so than defensive. Therefore, I don't play Hydramon in this particular build. Then for another level 7, you can actually play Quartz Spawn. You can actually, tech one of this guy in instead of playing 3 burst modes. This is totally, again, up to your personal option. This still Quartzmon is just really good against certain decks and certain matchups. Those that go super wide with Tamers and Digimon, you can punish them super hard with Quartzmon, of course, and just stop the game essentially. But yeah, just for consistency's sake and, more early game pressure, I just still like burst mode more instead of Quartzmon for this particular build. Another option you guys can be playing, really spicy and really cool clutch option that comes in really handy, is this Dimension Scissors for 3 costs. Main, one of your Digimon gains the following effects for the turn. When this Digimon deletes an opponent's Digimon by battle and survives, you get to unsuspend it. So this actually has a really good combo with our Rosemon Burst Mode, because by suspending something, we can swing over it. And if you guys actually notice, Rosemon Burst Mode's secondary effect is not once per turn. So you can attack, if you can attack twice, you can trash multiple things, security with that particular effect, and it gives you even more value by that. And by doing so, just again, a really powerful clutch combo that you can pull off every now and then. Last but not least, another one is just Samada Santi. If you would need to suspend more of your own stuff and suspend one of your opponent's stuff as well at the same time, this is a great card to definitely include for sure. And yeah, just a really nice tech because of its 1 cost option right there. That's it for all the cards that I wanted to talk about. Now let's show you guys the how to play section and the combos of this particular deck, which is actually quite straightforward and has a lot of similarities with Bloomlordmon if you guys have played it before. But it's actually, to me, even more straightforward than that. Obviously, when you're sort of like seeing your opening hand, cards you want to mulligan and try to see for is, of course, your main searchers of the deck. You want to be able to see your Digivolution stack, somehow to build it, which is actually very consistent, from your 3s all the way to your 4s and 5s and 6s. But otherwise, seeing Yoshino's is also just really great. And of course, you're going to be hatching your egg when you do see these pieces. Play your green memory boost when you can, Digivolve into your Lalamon. You can hard play it as well to search for yourself for Yoshino's if you need to during the course of the game. Otherwise, your Palmon is the one that you least likely want to be digivolving in your stack, just because you can just hard play it. It doesn't provide any inheritable, which is why, but then, but just by hard playing it, you can search, potentially getting 2 hits with either Lalamon and Palmon is always just going to be your value. And these are the cards you want to see as you're building your stack. Now, moving on immediately, it's going to be really soon as you go into your level 4s. If you see this BT10 Sunflowmon, you're going to want to be digivolving it in your battle area so it can use its when digivolving effect as effectively as possible. So sometimes if you have to push it up early, go ahead and do so they can cycle a bit more cards. That's how you want to be drawing as many cards with green. Digivolving is your utmost priority with this deck, just like Bloomlordmon. The more you digivolve, the more cards you cycle. The more you digivolve, the more cards you have. The more cards you have in hand, the more plays you can make and follow up and continue to do so. But anyways, let's just quickly continue. You can digivolve into Sunflowmon right here for the 2 costs, and then immediately by suspending itself or one of your other green Digimon, as long as you have any, you get to basically play another one. You can, let's just say, suspend this Palmon if you had it. You then play this Sunflowmon right here. Now with this Sunflowmon's effect, you get to use its main effect to help you continue to bridge, and depending on how much memory you really have, you can actually continue to go really high and climb very quickly, and maybe even 1 memory is really all you need. So, by suspending the Sunflowmon after digivolving into the Sunflowmon, of course, pop your memory boost to gain memory if you ever need to. But anyways, let's just say you're at 2 after this. You digivolve into this Lilamon for the cost of 1. Now because you also get to suspend something, so Kokomon gets to draw your card. Lalamon and Sunflowmons won't trigger just yet, but Lilamon's main when digivolving effect will let you play a Yoshino right here. And then obviously for that 1 cost, Yoshino comes out, and then now you can digivolve into your Rosemon. By having Lalamon, you reduce the cost by 1, and then you get to suspend Yoshino right here to basically gain a memory back. Now effectively, you only digivolve it for 1, you suspend your opponent's board, and just like that, you can start controlling from there. If you ever had like more memory boosts and more different inheritables and whatnot, you can actually just continue to go for the combos over and over again. And you guys know the classic green Bloomlord stuff. If you ever have more Digimon, you can Digizorb your Blossomon, you can Digizorb to go into Argomon, and continue to, again, Digivolve as much as you can, because by doing so, you can draw more cards. Now, rewinding back to a different situation, let's just say you, instead of having the Sunflowmon, you could have just played a red Vegemon, perhaps, or even just another Sunflowmon, which is the same as the BT10 one, per se, and then you have a Digizorb target to go into. You can Digizorb into either your Blossomon or your Argomon and whatnot. You can suspend itself, because eventually when you go into Rosemon gets to suspend one of your opponent's stuff, and then you get to unsuspend itself as well, just like that. So that's kind of like the whole Rosemon combo overall. It also has the all turns effect, so you can disrupt your opponents a little bit as well. And yeah, just by, you guys can see how fast you can quickly just climb through the stack with this particular combo right here, which is incredibly easy. And then let's just rewind back to here, moving back to your turn. You start at 3 with the suspended Yoshino right here. and then you get to like swing with Rosemon perhaps to go for 2 checks, but this is why you would then ideally actually want to Digivolve into your burst mode. Now, if you have 3 memory and you have these kind of inheritables to work with, you can consider to actually Digivolve directly without burst digivolving. If you want to go for the explosive turn, you can definitely return your Yoshino back to your hand to digivolve it for 0 and then do a whole lot of things. But otherwise, with this current setup, you guys can see you can actually reduce the cost by 1 with Lalamon, and you can gain a memory with Yoshino so that you're paying 3 memory. So instead of returning your Yoshino back to your hand, you can maintain quite decent value so they can go into Rosemon Burst mode here for just 3 cost, and then suspend something, and then you swing opponent, you trash a security for every 2 Digimon and or Tamers that they have, and then if they have a suspended Digimon, you could do security +1 as well and whatnot, and just establish a really strong, powerful board right here. Of course, if ever times as you continue to build your wide board and have other things, eventually you're going to Digivolve into your Blossomon, and you can also then Digivolve into your Bloomlordmon right here to spend on your other things and go for the wide game style with Bloomlordmon particularly, and you get to unsuspend and go for aggressive checks. You guys can see, all this entire build and all these kind of different combos are just very, very simple. Aggression, do as much damage as possible, take down your opponent's security, suspend their stuff while doing so, and basically win games that way, which is actually very easy to understand and very straightforward. And I personally think it's actually even easier than playing just a regular Bloomlordmon deck and with its straightforward playstyle right here, which I really, really like because of how aggro it really is. That'll wrap up for the deck profile for today. If you guys enjoyed the video and found it helpful, please give it a like. If you have any suggestions, recommendations, or questions, be sure to share it with everyone in the comments down below. Once again, be sure to subscribe and turn on that notification bell to stay tuned for more BT13 content. If you guys just can't wait and want to see early deck lists and first drafts, then once again, definitely join the Avault Club. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. You guys have a great day, great night, wherever you are. See you next video, and this is Avault signing out.